Hey, brothers, you're listening to Home Bar Happy Hour, where we talk nothing but cold beer, hot food, and great friends. Let's roll, America.
Hello, everyone. Again, we are here, the Home Bar Happy Hour. My name is Joe.
And I'm Gus, brothers.
How you doing today, Mike? Cheers. That's probably the
great,
first
man.
thing that's in order,
It's
right?
Friday. Yep. Cheers. Absolutely, man. It's Friday. It's 3:30. Dude, it's happy hour, man. What more can we ask for, brother?
It is. This is the perfect Friday happy hour in our two beautiful home bars here. What are your weekend plans, Mike?
Well, you never know, man. It could be anything, dude. It's like just taking things by the whim, man. It's being single and free. Just do whatever you want, bro. I don't know what'll happen.
Just let life take you wherever it wants to go.
Yep, absolutely, man. Every day is a new adventure. A great friend once told me that.
Yeah, that is good. So let's do some quick introductions, Mike. So where are you from? What do you do? What's a little bit of your background?
Well, brothers, I'm here. I reside here in the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania area. Just a little bit about me. I joined the military when I was 17. Spent 20 years in Iraq, Afghanistan as a truck driver. Well, logistics operator, because, well, that's a train down the road. But, got out when I was 20 and now went to culinary school. Now I'm a chef, and now I'm here sitting here drinking some vodka and some Zero Sprite. Talking to you, Joe, right here on a podcast.
Just living the dream. That's good stuff. And my name is Joe. I was also in the military. I joined when I was 19 years old. I did 12 years. Me and Mike went to Afghanistan together and then spent many years afterwards serving honorably in the Pennsylvania National Guard. And we became good friends through all of those experiences. And we both, apropos of each other, we both decided to build our own home bars in our basement. And one night we were hanging out in our home bars and just talking to each other, having a good time. And we decided, you know what, we should make this a podcast. We should have our own happy hour in our home bars. So, Mike, what led you to wanting to build your own home bar?
Well, Joe, I would have to say it would have to be, so I closed on my house in December 2019 and I moved in and, just moved in, enjoyed it. I noticed some things that I'd have to immediately work on, but it wasn't a big thing. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. And then COVID happened and I was like, well, guess I'm going to be building a bar outside in my sunroom, if you will. And, because there wasn't really anything out here. It was just every owner before me used it as a like a kind of like a storage area. It's a 350 square feet and got a deck off floating deck off the side, and I put my smokers out there. I built a pergola, just trying to build like a kind of like a a sports bar, because nobody. I'm 40 now. Just don't want to deal with like going out there and paying paying the prices for food and alcohol and then also throwing yourself into that hodgepodge of who knows who you're going to come in contact with. You just like to enjoy doing what I do here in my bar, and I host parties and I make great food. Just people come over, just family, kids. It's a great time. How about you, Joe? Yeah. What made you build your bar? Is pretty legit because you're actually in like the outskirts of Philly. So like your home is very nice and your bar is very unique and it fits your personality too.
Yeah, I love my bar. So before I moved back to Philadelphia, I lived in Los Angeles, and I lived right across the street from an Alamo Drafthouse, which is a movie theater, but the movie theater has a bar in it. And I really wanted to, when we moved back from LA to Philly, there was no Alamo Draft House. In LA, obviously, I had a much smaller place, lived in a small condo. So moving back here to the Philadelphia area, I was able to get a little bigger house, had a nice basement. And I said, you know what? If I can't go to the Alamo Draft House, on a weekly basis, I want the Alamo Draft House in my home. So I built a little bar down here. I have a movie theater off to the side, have a nice, projector and screen over there. And the biggest thing that I loved about Alamo in LA is you'd go sit at the bar and they had a little like 13-inch CRT TV that they were always playing old VHSs on. So I'd go in there and they'd be playing Terminator 2 or True Lies or Ghostbuster, all on like VHS. And it was like super nostalgic for me. That's the stuff I grew up with. And it was just so great to sit and chill and watch, Teen Wolf 2 on a Saturday afternoon while you're drinking at a bar. And I said, you know what, I'm going to do that in my house. I have an old CRT TV and a bunch of VHSs, and that's what I like to do, Mike. Just hang out, watch good old movies, and have a couple cold ones.
I absolutely agree with you, man. I feel like our bars reflect our personalities. Like, I do get where you're coming from with the nostalgia, which we are 100% for on the show. And, just looking back and just remembering all the good times that we used to have when we were kids and stuff like that, and just bringing them out in our older years, if you will. Yeah, I think my personality reflects my culinary and my ability to have fun and be outdoors. I have, the pool and everything. So, it's just a good, it's a good time, bro. Awesome. I believe that our bars really, bring out our personalities. Whereas like you're very nostalgia with, like music and movies and like stuff that, you grew up with, like you took, that's what you grew up with. It's to your heart. With me, like I'm all about like 80s movies and nostalgia and music and stuff like that, but I bring out a little bit more of my hosting abilities. I like to be around a lot of people. I have like a lot of entertainment options, like where you have the movie theater, I have the pool. I also like to, put on a nice spread around the holidays, especially in the summertime. And I like being outside, man. I like the sports bar. I like people having, just watching TV or watching sports, and just like you were at a regular sports bar. So I think we really like it. It brings out the best of both of us.
And I see you have a guest behind you, Mike. Would you like to introduce everyone to Mr. Hulk Hogan, who's hanging out right behind you there?
Yes, Mr. One of the greatest Americans of all time, Hulk Hogan, ladies and gentlemen. But
the one and only.
Yeah, this is from the WrestleMania when he fought the Ultimate Warrior, if you will. But later on,
up too, right? A couple weeks
through our absolutely, and one of the we'll take in the greatest city. We'll take that with a grain of salt. But Philadelphia is the founding the founding city of our country. We have Independence Hall. We got the Liberty Bell. There are a lot of great people there, and it's just a shame that we don't want to get down a rabbit hole, but some people got to ruin it for the majority. But it is a great city.
That is true.
There's a lot of things to do, and we plan on bringing our show to those areas, and to bring it out, show the world, show people on the show what the different things, the breweries, the restaurants. So
yeah, definitely. I would love to hit up some great Philadelphia breweries. I'm drinking right now a beer from Conshohocken Brewery, which isn't in Philadelphia, but Conchi's right outside of Philly, very close. One of my favorite breweries. What am I drinking? An MC5 Mosaic and Citra double dry hopped India Pale Ale. Yeah, it's very nice, crisp and refreshing. That's how I describe it.
Speaking of wrestling, did you see Stone Cold Steve Austin came out with a new beer? It's called
I did not.
316. I plan on drinking that.
Ooh. Okay.
It,
3-6. What kind of
I
beer
had
is it?
his.
Do you know?
I haven't gotten into it. It just came out, so I'm kind of just like, hey man, when it comes to beer, me and beer, I don't care what it is. If it tastes good and it's beer, it's for me.
Well,
But
you bring up Stone
yeah,
Cold. Is there
he does
a
have the.
more I was gonna say, is there a more famous beer drinker in America than Stone Cold Steve Austin? Right. All I remember is him coming
Jason
out with the
Kelce,
cutoff.
man.
Jason Kelsey's a big beer drinker, right?
Jason Kelsey's a beer. Him and I mean, I don't know, man. Jason Kelce is like my spirit animal, but he's
Yeah.
also
Oh, I love Kelsey.
one of the greatest. Yeah, one of the greatest centers of all time. And speaking that's funny that we brought him up here because with his retirement here, it's a sad day. I do feel that Dawkins moving on to the Broncos that year was a lot harder for me to digest. I believe that he was done wrong, and he was a great player. I'm a defensive guy. I don't want to take anything from anybody else, but I just love that passion. Plus, kind of like grew up with him in our prime. So he was like,
Yeah,
our
100%.
Dawkins was our spirit animal in our teens and in our 20s. But Jason reflected me of who I was in my late 20s and 30s, now in my 40s, and I will miss him. I don't feel there will be a drop off because that's just respect for him as a position player at center. Probably one of the greatest centers to ever play the game. But I'm very comfortable with who we are with Cam Jurgens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And having like you mentioned, Brian Dawkins leaving that last season, playing somewhere else. That was such a bummer. And it's nice to see Jason Kelce just retiring and being like, you know what, I'm done with football, but I'm not, he's not pulling a Tom Brady and doing another season or two at, Tampa Bay. And I know he had a lot of success there, and I'm sure Kelce would have had a lot of success if he went somewhere else, but he is just like a Philly dude through and through. Like, he kind of gets it. He gets the community, and he's like loved the community. It's something like I've always respected. I think he gave, probably the most iconic Super Bowl parade speech of all time out there in the Mummers outfit. And he's been a center. He's been a really great center, which is a really hard position on your body. You're getting hit consistently every single game. And he did that for 13 years. So I understand being like, hey, I'm done. And for him to retire too, still at the top of his game. He retired, and his last season he was still probably the best center in the league in his last season, which that's where you want to go. You want to go out on top. You don't want to fade. You don't want to be second string or third string, just go out on top and live your life, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy retirement.
I absolutely 100% agree with you, man. Dude, I was down there for the Super Bowl parade. Such a special, just a unbelievable. Special isn't even, that's so underrated of a word. Like, dude, we've been through a lot as Eagles fans at our age.
That's true.
That year was just incredible, and to have him a part of that team and his Super Bowl parade, I was down there for that. It was unbelievable, and it was just awesome, and I'll never forget that. I'll never forget when he was running stride for stride with Jeremy Maclin out in San Francisco, going up the sidelines as lead blocker for him. That was right there. I knew he was something special. I had never seen a lineman go stride for stride, 20, 30, 40 yards down the field with a wide receiver. Doesn't matter what receiver who you are, you're still a wide receiver in the NFL, and you still run fast.
Right.
Faster than a lineman. So if you're doing lead blocks, like the guy he was not even Yeah, he wasn't even ahead of him. Like he was going stride for stride with him. It was incredible. That was
Yeah,
very.
I
I knew
remember.
right there that Jason was a very special person, talent.
I remember two things about the Super Bowl parade. One, I remember it was incredibly cold. Do you remember how cold it was that day? It was freezing when they did it. My toes almost fell off. And the other thing I remember, I was living in
drank so
Maryland
much
at the
beer.
time.
I drank so much
I was
beer
gonna
and
say,
Jameson
the other
that
thing
morning,
I remember,
dude.
Yeah, I was living in Maryland, so I was coming from a long way to come up to Philly. And I got to my brother-in-law's house, and I was picking up my nephews, and we were coming into the city. And I got a Snapchat from you at like 6:30 in the morning with you at the art museum steps, just housing Miller Lights. You were already down there, already getting it in, just ready for the celebration.
Hell yeah, brother.
That was a good one. That was a good day. Hey, so Mike, you said you just turned 40. When did that happen?
Dude, well, I like to keep things under the cover, you know what I mean? I'm not one to celebrate birthdays and stuff like that if you guys want to come. But yeah, that was I was February 28th. February 28th, 1984. I was almost a leap year baby that year. Obviously, this year's a leap year.
Almost, so close.
You know, things come around. I know.
You almost missed it. You already been, what? You would have been like 10 instead if you would have been a leap year, right?
10, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't do anything special. I mean, I had I made some food. I'm Catholic and it's Lent, and so it was. I celebrated on Friday. I went out Wednesday. I went out with family and stuff like that. We went out for dinner. I'm on keto, so obviously it's going to be steak. And I got a really nice ribeye. Got a nice salad and greens, and I treated myself to some garlic parm wings. And
ooh.
But yeah, speaking of which, I'm not drinking beer right now. I haven't drank beer since New Year's, and I'm down 30 pounds. So, well, more than 30 pounds, but we'll give and take. But yeah, back to my birthday. Yeah, we're getting on these tangents, man. This juice is really hitting good, brother.
Yeah, that's the secret, though, to losing weight is just less Miller Lights, right?
It's not less Miller Lights, man. It's no Miller Lights, and it's killing me. Anybody who knows me knows that I don't care about food. I don't care about, I just want beer. Cold, ice cold Miller Lite. And it's a lot easier here in the wintertime here because it's cold out, and ice cold beer hits different in the summertime when you're in the pool, when you're on the boat, when you're out mowing your lawn, when you're out fishing. It just hits differently, man. There's nothing that can explain it.
I agree with that. My summer beer of choice, I mean, I like a lot of different beers. My summer beer of choice is always a Miller High Life, a champagne of beers. I used to drink those when I was when I'd mow my lawn. It fits perfectly into the cup holder, and just down in Miller High Lifes, rocking out to some tunes, cutting the grass. Love it.
You know, I got a good Miller High Life story.
Okay, let's hear it.
Back in the days, man. Back in the days, when I was like 22 or 23, somewhere in there, it was me and my boys, and when I was up in college, I don't know if I should say what college. I don't want to, whatever. But we were up at college, and we were out. We just got a quarter keg. Well, we were like, hey, we're getting a quarter keg of beer. We're gonna be hanging out, having a party at the house. Or at the apartment. You guys should come over. And I was like, all right, yeah, hell yeah, man, we'll come over. So we came over there, and we all chipped in for this quarter barrel, and it was Miller High Life, and I'm like, ugh, because I don't know especially if you don't tap right, because I think my one buddy was half hammered before even tapping the keg, and but yeah, it was very foamy and everything. But hey, man, you made it through, and then we got hammered off. It was just us four drinking from this quarter keg, and I mean, I was drinking liquor and stuff throughout the night, but then it woke up with a hangover the next morning, and then I don't know what it was, but I said to my buddy as I was drinking coffee, I was like, we had the shades drawn, and I look out the shades, and here come those two, still trashed from the night before, come walking across the open parking lot, just dragging this quarter barrel over, and I'm like, oh God, don't answer the door. And they're just banging on the door. I know you fuckers are in there. And it was like, oh God, we opened it up. And then dude, that keg wasn't even on ice. It was like straight up warm. And you know what? We sucked it up. We had to finish that. We had to finish it, man. And it was horrible. We played beer pong and stuff. And it was like, I don't know, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. During, get ready for the 1 o'clock games. That was back in the good days, man. When you had like, I'm just giving credit, for the Steelers, you know what I mean? Like when the Steelers were good, because they're not good right now. When the Steelers were really good, and it was like Steelers and Ravens on CBS, and it's snowing, that's that hardcore, that defensive football and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's what I remember for college. Also remember, going, head to head with a lot of these Steeler fans, being an Eagles fan out there. That was pretty rough, but hey, yeah. And then, then we had like the Eagles and Cowboys obviously out there. And, we were Eagles fans out there in the Pittsburgh area. We had no animosity until we went out there. I didn't personally. And I just got shit on when I was out there, and I'm like, well, you're going to get the very best of the asshole in me. So that's just my overall opinion and everything.
Yeah. So I have a good Miller Lite story too. So this was probably a decade ago at this point. I went over to my buddy Rob's house.
It doesn't involve me.
It does not involve you. No, but I went over to my buddy's Rob's house, and it was just like a Saturday. We were just like gonna chill out. He was like, "Oh, just come by. I'm like doing some yard work or something. He's got a nice place down there." And I was like, "Okay, I've like half a case of Miller Lite in the fridge." He's like, "Yeah, bring it over." So whatever half a case is, 12 something we had. So I brought it over, and within like an hour, me and him had drank all of them. We were done. And he's like, well, let's go out and get another case. So we went out, got another case, came back, drank all of that in about 2 hours. So now it's like a Saturday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Me and him are both hammered. His lovely wife there is just dealing with us being hammered. And me and Rob are like, let's go to the worst bar we can think of, the worst bar we can find. And there's an absolutely terrible bar in Calora, Maryland, called Sweeney's. It is a biker bar. It's one of those bars you walk into and they're like, you're not a regular. You need to leave.
Those are always the best bars.
Yeah. Well, we walked in and they had Yingling on tap for $1. So I went in there. I was like, give me a Yingling. She poured it. I took a drink and I said, oh, this is skunked. And she said, yeah, it's $1. I said, oh, okay, my bad. So we kept drinking. Then it was about 4 or 5. His dear wife is just putting up with us, driving us around.
That's what I'm talking about right there. That story is awesome. That's a good story, dude. What do you expect? Stale Yingling.
Yeah, so it's $1. It's $1. That's why we're selling it for $1. Yeah, she was.
Dude, there was this one bar. There was this. Oh, I bet. Did she have all of her teeth?
Oh,
there was this one bar up there. It's yeah. I mean, when you're serving dollar beers, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, in a biker bar, like.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want to disturb the commoners at a biker bar. Who knows? It might be, you might get some pagans all riled up.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend doing something like that.
No, absolutely not. But hey, man, if you're adventurous like that, by all means, go right ahead. But, dude, there was a bar up there
country, right? You should be able to drink wherever I want to drink.
Absolutely, man. 100% agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bar up there. Oh yeah, dude, this college bar up there. It was called. I could say the name because it's no longer in existence. It's called the Roadhouse. Literally. And
Nice.
it was located probably about like
Is it just Kevin Bacon out front kicking people in the face?
No, not Kevin Bacon, man. Patrick Swayze, bro. Patrick
Swayze. That's true.
Patrick Swayze.
Yeah. I got too much podcast.
Sam
juice.
Elliott. Yeah. Oh
yeah, Sam Elliott is
you
in
and me
movie.
both, man. But yeah, dude, like I was there a few times before they closed down. They were doing like 25-cent drafts. And dude, all we did was we came in with all of our change and just dumped it on the bar. And we're like, just bring them out. And they would just bring out like server trays, like the big, the enormous, like 2-foot round server trays, just loaded with draft beer. Now these draft beers aren't full draft beers. They're like, I would say like maybe 8 ounces. Yeah, like the shorties. Like the real short beers, definitely like 8. Yeah, nothing more than 10 ounces. But yeah, man, pull, and it was so old school too. It was, dude. We got so wild in that place, like just so hammered drunk. We would just go in there and just drink as much as we could until they just cut us off. It was just like seeing like this, maybe like the X-Men blob going to a buffet. Having them cut him off. Like you're cutting us off? We're cutting you off, man.
Oh man, that's good. Hey, do you have some news items for me? I know you're an avid news watcher.
You got only for the craziness that goes on in society. Only the craziness.
Right. That's all we care about. We only want to know what insane things are happening in this world.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do here is I'm going to read off 2 news stories, and Joe here is going to have to figure out which is the real story and which one is the fake story. So, Joe,
I'm excited.
This
is going to be tough because there's a lot of craziness going on.
Yeah, this is going to be good. Did you see that there was a DC mother this past Halloween who was handing out full-size Xanax bars on Halloween to the young trick-or-treaters, man? Like, what kind of a...
This is in Washington, D.C.?
Yes.
Xanax bars. Okay. Xanax bars in Washington, D.C.
I have no idea what neighborhood it is or anything like that. She was just nailed for it. Like, we grew up like... Did you grow up like as a trick-or-treater where your parents were checking your candy to make sure that there was nothing like everything was sealed and, there weren't glass or anything in there? Remember that was going around?
Yeah, that was like a big old wives' tale, right? People would drug the Kit Kats or put razor blades in your Snickers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
my
parents. I don't know if that was a
checked.
myth. That was my parents just dumped my mom did. My dad could care less.
Let the boy eat some razor blades. It'll build character.
Yeah, well, my dad was just like, all right, well, my dad was a hard worker. He was at work and stuff like that. My mom, did all the domestic stuff. But yeah,
right.
So yeah, so we have the mother that was handing out full-size Xanax bars. I'm sure the parents would be really happy when they saw those. They're like, well, I'll take those.
Yeah, right. That's then more a trick or treat for the parents.
Yeah. Then we have a Texas man who was accused of stealing, and he was at an antique store, and he was accused of stealing these antiques and placing them up his kilt-covered ass. So he was just oh, I mean, that's perfect with St. Patty's Day coming up. Just reach up in there and just put a ceramic, like one of those ceramic ducks, or just placing these. So this is maybe like a bronze Buddha.
So this is Texas, and he's wearing a kilt, and he's taking antiques out of a store up his rear end. Keep this family friendly.
Yep, just place them in there just to steal them.
Just did he have any lube with him? Is that part of the or was he just raw dogging
I don't believe
these
that was
antiquities up his
I think it was
beehole?
raw. As far as I could see, it's been raw dogging. I don't. The
As far as I
lube
can
wasn't
see,
in
it's been
the
raw dogging.
police report.
Okay. So I think what I'm trying to decide is which state is crazier, Washington, D.C. or Texas. Texas has a lot of crazies, but so does D.C. I think the D.C. girl is the real one. I think she was really handing out Xanax bars.
Nope, you're wrong.
No,
Texas
it
man.
was the Texas man is real.
The Texarkana. God bless Texas.
I tell you what, if I'm ever in Texas and I see a man walking around in a kilt, I'll know what he's up to. He won't know that I know, but I'll know that he's trying to steal some
If I see a man
stuff.
in Texas wearing a kilt, if I see a man in Texas wearing a kilt, I'm easily going over and like, dude, I want to buy like the first 5 rounds on for you. Because I've never seen, I mean, I've never been to Texas, so, but I mean, from, the reputation of Texas, I just don't foresee any Irishmen
Quite
down
the
there.
reputation they have.
Yeah, I don't see any Irishmen.
And if
being
they are,
down
they're
in
all
Texas,
thieves, apparently.
I don't know. That's news to me, man. All I know is that an Irishman would burn like a fried egg in Texas.
Well, that's also probably why he's wearing the kilt, right? So you get some airflow up in there. You got to keep it a little cool in those hot summer Texas days.
I'm half Irish, and I'm wearing a kilt here in March.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. And it's cold, and I'm in PA.
Yeah.
All right, so we got.
I wouldn't do that. Yeah, let's go for the next one.
Let's go on to our next one here. We got ourselves a 52-year-old man in England. That's not the U.S. for those who are listening. England calls the cops
Old
on
England,
himself.
not New England.
Not New England. Calls the cops on himself for drinking and driving. He says he didn't know what he was doing. He said he had a rough weekend. The cops gave him a breathalyzer. He was 3 times over the legal limit, and they found him on the side of the road, sleeping in his van.
Okay.
What else we got here? We got a Florida man. Here who woke up to a burglar. They didn't even know the burglar was in the house until he caught the burglar sucking on his toes. And that's how he came out. If only that burglar wasn't sucking on his toes, he could have made away with, the whole kitchen sink.
The whole kit and caboodle, huh? So
yeah.
So a Florida man wakes up with a burglar sucking on his toes. Was the guy in bed?
I don't know. It didn't say it. I have money on that. It says that he fell asleep watching 60 Minutes on a recliner.
And he went to sleep sockless, apparently, because the burglar's sucking on his toes.
Who knows, man? Maybe he passed out drinking, and then like the burglar came in and just took his socks off. Those are some nice toes, boy.
As much as it pains me, I have to say that the toe sucking is the fake one. There's no way.
You are correct.
A burglar.
You are correct.
Okay. If that was real, I would have lost all faith in humanity.
Yeah, but that's still funny though.
That's he's the real wet bandits. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't even want to call them wet bandits. I'm going to go like, I don't even, dude, it's just gross. And I can't even really say anything.
That's the last thing you want. Right?
I made up I made up these fake news stories anyway. So, all right, let's get on to the last one here. A woman in New York sexually doxes her boyfriend after he refused to go apple picking. So for you out there that don't know what doxing is, I looked it up because I didn't know. And apparently doxing is when you seek revenge on another person by taking all their personal data and dumping it onto the World Wide Web. And I don't know what kind of, there's no judgment zone, man. People like to take pictures and make videos of themselves. And apparently, like, she just dropped a bunch of sexual content of her now ex-boyfriend because he refused to go apple picking. Hey, man, that's up there. But I think that's a little extreme. But we're going to go to the extremes in a bunch of episodes. So what do you think about that one, Joe?
Yeah, that sounds like an unwanted OnlyFans, like that's like an involuntary OnlyFans. I don't know if those exist. I would imagine it's illegal for those to exist.
Absolutely. I feel like
crime,
if she
right?
sexually doxed him.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, that's a crime.
I feel like if she sexually doxed them, that they
sure.
did have an OnlyFans account. And she didn't give a shit.
You don't think it was just special pictures he was sending to a special lady?
Nah, not in today's day. Not in today's day, man.
No? It might.
Yeah, everybody's out there on OnlyFans, man. Maybe they're getting set up for OnlyFans.
Are they were just
Who knows? Maybe they're doing a test run.
Maybe they hadn't launched it yet, and she was just trying to get all the money. Either way, that's a crime, and that's terrible. What's the next story? Let me hear the next story.
A New York City man is arrested for admitting to smuggling 3 Burmese pythons in his pants. Apparently, he was convicted last Wednesday and fined $5,000 per snake. For those of you who are listening, the Burmese python I looked it up, is the world's largest snake when fully grown. Dude,
I don't think that's it, Mike.
Down your pants?
I think that's the anaconda. I saw the Jennifer Lopez movie, LL Cool J. I think anacondas are bigger than Burmese pythons. You can't tell me that was the biggest snake I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, well, I don't think John Voight was winking at this guy.
All right, so they must have been baby Burmese pythons, right? Or just little guys?
I would assume so. There was they didn't put up with any measurements or anything on the, but all they said was 3 Burmese pythons. And all I know is that I don't know if I want a python down there wrapping around anything. So that's just me.
Right, because pythons are the constrictors, right? They'll wrap around all your extremities. And he's got 3, so there's 3 separate extremities for them to be able to wrap around.
Hey, he could be, the guy could be he could have a 3rd extremity, but, unless if he's gifted, he would. Us common people, I don't know about you, Joe, but I'm a common person. I don't have a 3rd extremity. I just have a...
Well, I'm not...
Yeah.
I don't want to sexually dox myself right now. I think the sexually doxing one is the true one. I think the Burmese python is fake. Just because you said Burmese pythons are the biggest snakes, that's got to be hard to smuggle in your pants.
I'm sorry, Joe. You were wrong, man. The Burmese python.
Am I 0 for 3? Did I get all of them wrong?
No. You were 1 for 2.
I was 1 for 2. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. You were like 1 for 2.
Said 1 out of 2 ain't bad, right?
Absolutely, man.
Okay. Wow. A New York man, and he got fined $5,000 per snake. That's $15,000.
$5,000 per snake.
What's he doing with these snakes?
Well,
what's he doing with the snakes?
Well, clearly he's a poacher, man. Who knows what he's going to do? Actually, to tell you the truth, I'm looking out my window here. I'm about to think about poaching some of these squirrels.
Take them in, get your dinner.
Yeah,
I
don't live where Joe lives. But I don't live in the... I live on the outskirts of Harrisburg, so I still get a little bit of wildlife. I haven't seen any deer.
Yeah, we don't have any deer, but we got some squirrels around here somewhere.
Squirrels. Where's Eddie at? I thought he eats these damn things.
Yeah, that's who we need to bring up to your house to poach him out and cook him up.
Cousin Eddie.
Man. Well, that was a good episode, Mike. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you. I can't wait to do this again. You have any parting words for our dear listeners?
I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode, and I hope every episode just gets even better, and that way we can keep you listening and talking, and commenting, interacting with you, and always remember, if your drink ain't warm, it's got to be cold. Hell
Fair
yeah,
enough.
brother.
I love it. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Check us out on we have a Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. It's Home Bar Happy Hour, real easy to find. And if you have any questions for us, you can email those to homebarhappyhour@gmail.com. Real easy to find. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.